Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Entrepreneur's Playbook, where we help 7 and 8 figure business owners ignite their financial superpowers. Josh Bowerly here with Ron Parisi. Ron, how you doing this week?
Doing great, Josh. Feeling good. Looking forward to spending some more time with you, buddy.
Yeah, and I don't think we have a very specific thing we're going to drill down on today. Just maybe some what we're seeing as we get to the end of quarter 3 here, and just a ton of uncertainty. Obviously, we have a major U.S. election coming up. And I think we're both seeing the uncertainty in the business world, and especially in the online space that we kind of operate in. What are you seeing?
Yeah. I think as we start quarter 4 of 2024, probably a good time to kind of revisit, in my mind, what's going on, right, with the entrepreneur, with the founder, CEO, what we're seeing in our space, right? A lot of uncertainty. Sales are a lot harder to come by. Churn is higher, right? So you think you have the client onboarded, you're servicing them, and then all of a sudden there's no payments, they've canceled, they've dropped out, etc. There's a struggle here, right? I think we haven't been in this situation to this degree for a while. And I think it's a really important topic to really drill in and talk about from our perspective, and that's the financial operations perspective. How do we deal with this uncertainty? How do we deal with the strain? And what we always talk about protecting the confidence, making sure that the vision is still there for the entrepreneur, for the visionary. And how do we protect that? And how do we put the business and the entrepreneur in the best place possible? So that's hopefully we can put that, we can help the entrepreneur. I'll just start. So from our perspective, again, I see the visionary kind of operate that three-legged stool with the product and service. There's one stool, there's one leg of the stool. Second would be the marketing and sales. And then the third would be the financial operations. And I think more than ever with the churn is your product and sale and service, and making sure that delivery and those touch points, the communications there, you have to keep your clients more engaged than ever, because I think at this point, because of the uncertainty themselves from your clients, they're like, where can I cut? And I think that a lot of people are like, it's too hard in this environment and I'm just cutting. And I think hopefully our audience is a true visionary and sees this as an opportunity. So I think it's important that the focus be on that product, service, the communication with the client, staying in front of the client and creating the value for the client. So that's number one priority for the visionary or for the CEO founder. Number two is marketing sales, right? We were just talking about lead costs are really escalated. And it was pretty interesting. It's like part of it is just we've been seeing a trend the last 2 years, year and a half, that lead costs are up. But also too, like with the election, you have this behemoth, right, of marketing going on right through the pipeline with the election, through the candidates, not just the presidential, but local as well and state. So I think that's driven ad costs up. So I thought that was an interesting observation. I think those two things is that one, lead costs just generally going up to the election. You got to be really on top of your lead costs and how much it's costing you to get that client, and really understand lifetime value of client, what the lead costs are, what's the percentage, and what's going to eventually give you profit, right? We're always looking at profit. And I think not only we talked a little about the client, but you, right, the founder needs to be looking at your expenses, right? Particularly your team, right? You know, what you spend money on. And again, during this time of uncertainty, really looking at the profitability of the company. And so having that analytics on the lead costs, having analytics on your team, on your labor costs, and then making sure that we're on top of all the expenses going out the door, and allowing you, the entrepreneur, to focus on product and service, sales and marketing. I just think that's like where somebody's priorities should be right now, sitting in the chair. So
Yep.
thoughts on that, Josh?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I think the easy way to remember it is there's 2 ways that you can improve your bottom line or protect your bottom line, right? You either find a way to raise revenue or you find a way to cut expenses. So I guess if which side of that would you be prioritizing right now in a time of extreme uncertainty? I know
Yeah.
that both of them are hugely important, but if
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
going to prioritize one, which one are you looking at more heavily?
I don't know about cost cutting per se, but I definitely think analytics need to be a huge part of this. You have to see in the new environment how much it's costing you to get a new client, because, and I think that's where the priority should be, is always client acquisition. And we talked about this and reducing that churn as much as possible, because that's going to over the long haul, that's going to be the bigger driver for your success. But I just think that the cost of acquisition needs to be in the conversation. Like, you as the CFO or CEO need to know what your client acquisition is fully, and need to know how that impacts your bottom line. I don't, you can't, there's only so much elasticity for those lead costs. And if they get to be too high, you need to know that, hey, even though I'm growing, I'm not growing in profitability. And that's a big no. So prioritize always new client acquisition and reduce churn. But two is make sure we do it profitably.
Yeah, there does come a point where less is more, right? Where you can keep growing that revenue, but it's almost at a negative benefit to your profit, or such a small amount that it's not worth the costs that are incurred to bring it on, and the additional time commitments and everything else that comes with that. No, I think that's super important. And I think we always have to remember during these times of uncertainty, I think the people that you see get through them are the people that are able to make these small, important pivots, and not the people that are like, it's uncertain, I'm cutting everything. Fire everybody, let's go lean, let's get through this. I think people did that. A lot of people did that when COVID first hit, right?
Yep.
And thinking, oh, everything's going to stop. No one's going to buy. I've got to get rid of everything. And then suddenly it's, oh, wait, people are buying more. And the people that made these small pivots, they thrive through it, and some of
Yeah.
them. So I think we got to remember that these things seem so big and scary and uncertain, and they are. I don't want to minimize that, but I think that the full effect to our bottom line, especially in our businesses, is often vastly overstated in our minds, and in the media, and everything else you watch. And I think no matter who, it doesn't matter who you're choosing in an election, right? You're seeing these ads, and it seems so scary that if the other side wins, everything's going to crash, right? The
Oh, yeah.
market, democracy itself, whatever. And it's so easy. All of us can easily fall for that. But you look back over hundreds of years of history, and most of the time, yep, there might be, maybe your taxes go up a little bit. Maybe they go down a little bit, depending on who wins. But overall, there's so many businesses that thrive through all these changes that come through, all these different presidents, senators, representatives, local government, whatever it is. They're in, they're out, and there's so many businesses that continue to thrive. So I think it's important to keep your head through this, and say, when I look at the 50-year history of my business, this is going to be this tiny little space when I zoom out in the history of it, right? And we treat it like it's do or die. When no, let's prepare the best we can prepare. Let's make the little changes we can make, and let's do our best and get through it.
Yeah, that's a mouthful there, I think. But I think at the end of the day, right, is that protecting your confidence, like you said, keeping your head, right? Protect your confidence. And then I think the big thing from my perspective, obviously as a CFO or as a financial expert, is like that confidence is knowing that you have the information you need to know that you can go the extra day, the extra mile, and every dollar that you're investing, you're going to get a return on. And I just think that's so crucial running a business in these stressful times, is just knowing the data, trusting it, and knowing that you can complete your vision. There's a lot of hero stories of people saying, oh, I just did it. But we never hear about the non-hero stories behind it, of people who had no idea what their costs were, no idea what their lead costs, no idea what their profitability were, and are out of business. So like, for me, it just, again, confidence comes through knowing that information and making great business decisions. So,
Yeah, 100%. It's what we always come back to. You've got to know your numbers inside and out. You've got to have a team of people that can tell you what those numbers mean, and to the best of anyone's ability, what they're showing is going to happen.
yeah.
There's always uncertainty. There's always times we're going to look at it and say, we think this is what's going to happen, and something comes out of nowhere. A global pandemic comes out of nowhere and wipes out any projection we ever had.
Mm.
But you have to prepare the best that you can, and then make those adjustments as that uncertainty hits.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I think it's something, every event we've ever had, someone in your industry was able to not just survive, but thrive through it, right? So there's almost nothing out there that is just going to hit and completely make your entire industry extinct.
No.
So someone figures out a way to adapt and survive.
Yep. And then, yeah, this is when you have to lean into why you're unique, right? Hopefully you're not selling some good on Amazon that's got 150 other competitors, right? Like, we're all unique. We all bring a unique skill set, a unique product service to the market in general. And this is the time to lean into that. What is, Josh's unique skills? What's Ron's unique skills? What is CPI on Fire's unique skills? And really lean into that. And I think that when you do that, there's always a path forward, right? The sun's going to rise tomorrow.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
exactly.
figure out what that path is forward. And I can't stress enough the confidence issue.
And I think it's part of that is just how can you adapt that skill set that you have that what makes you unique to the situation. And COVID was such an example. You look at our industry, the tax and accounting world, there was how many old school accountants are like, no, we do everything face to face. There's no way we can do this.
Now, right?
And then there's other people that are like, nope, we're just going to move online. We've already been going that way and just it's going to be all remote and we're able to thrive. So it's every industry, there's whatever skill set you have, there's a way to adapt it the best you can to whatever situation hits.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Hey, Josh, appreciate the conversation, and hopefully the founders and CEOs out there trust themselves and protect their confidence and are able to thrive going forward. So another good session of financial superpowers. Always great to be with you, Josh. Thanks again.
Awesome. We'll see you next time.